Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The last article of the chapter Family Changes in the Concept of Motherhood and Fatherhood. Motherhood. Society have clear expectations of what mothers should be like. In modern industrial society, mothers are expected to devote themselves to their children. It is assumed that there is a mothering instinct that a woman will always want and be able to raise her children. In fact, motherhood is a social construction. It is society which decides what a mother should be like and singles out, stigmatize those who do not confirm. In other societies, it is always taken for granted that the biological mother will raise the children. For example, grandparents or other close kin may adopt the children of a young unmarried mother. In the UK, changes in the concept of motherhood have been influenced by the changes in the pattern of childbearing, such as a decline in birth rates from around 30 live births per thousand people in 1900 to around 10 in 2010, a decline in family size over the last 50 years from an average of 3 to 1.6 children, an increase in the average age at which women have their first child. Birth outside marriage now account for nearly half of all the births. The smaller number of children has, with other changes, led to families and societies more widely becoming more child-centered, which places more expectation on mothers to be good mothers, spending a lot of time and energy on their children. Some type of mother have been thought of as straying from the stereotype typical good mother role. One example is working women. Growing number of women do both paid work, often in demanding occupation, and carried out the traditional oppressive role and face great difficulty trying to meet the often conflicting demands of the two roles. There is long running debate over whether mothers, especially those with preschool age children, should go out to work or work full time. Some people think that being a good mother means that the children must be the mother's priority and therefore that it is wrong for a mother to go out for the work. Nevertheless, many women do work and there are a range of options available for childcare by others. Although these can be expensive, care by a relative, such as grandparent or a child minder. A nanny, a common practice in British upper and the middle class families in the past, nurseries and the nursery schools. Britain has less childcare provisions than most other European countries, and very few companies and organizations have workplace nurseries. Getting used to being with different people can help a child to become more sociable and confident. Being with a group of children at a nursery or similar institution is preparation for school, and children learn how to get on with others. A child who has been looked after all the time by the mother, father, or other relative may find going to school a more difficult transition. So, according to these paragraphs, it's all about the mother, a social construction. There are so many things which are involved are relating to the motherhood. The very first thing is that there is a great change in the birth rate. One thing, then there is a change in the family size, there is a change in the behavior of the mother. So, generally acknowledging mother, the term mother or motherhood is referring to rear a child. And when we talk about the mothers, they are biologically considered to be soft, kind hearted, and they are equipped or gifted with such qualities which are very important to raise a kid. In the upbringing of children, mothers play the most vital part because they are more emotionally attached to their children. Obviously, they are having them within themselves for more than 9 months sometimes, society have clear expectations from others because most of the domestic work, most of the domestic labor are things like that. They are associated with the girls. So we need to understand a couple of things while talking to children. Is that these are the mothers who are generally responsible for the child caring, for responsible for the child bearing of their kids. So once they are involved in all this, I mean, then women are considered to be more responsible for that thing. And there are so many stories, there are so many things which are attached to the motherhood. For instance, in the recent past, one can say that the alternative to marriage has taken over a lot of things. I mean, as far as the responsibility of the motherhood is concerned. So, gradually and step by step, I need to tell you so many things which are involved. So, first of all, especially when we talk about the UK, the one can say that decline in birth rate. You know why? Because the birth rate is declined. One thing. Why birth rate is declined? Because women are more job centered. They are more concerned about their career building. So once they are working, they are out of home just to work, just to feed their kids, or even for their career orientation. So they tie the knots at a later age. So if they are at a later stages, like in 30s, so obviously the lifespan or the productivity, you can say, that they can get from their children is almost less. And it can be seen, I mean, for instance, one can say that if 50 years before we have three average of children to every single family, which is reduced to 1.6. One thing. So it's all about, one can say it's a late marriage. One thing. Women are more concerned about their career. Second thing. Then it is again important if they are concerned with their career. So obviously they get their first child at a very late age. Then birth outside the marriages, now you can say the half of the kids are all the births with the half of the kids, or you can say that it's outside the family, uh, outside the marriage, you can say. So there are so many things which are involved in motherhood. Late marriages, less children, uh, alternative to marriages, cohabitation is more common these days. So there are so many factors. So the thing is that generally acknowledging mothers should do the labor work, must do the domestic work, and they are more responsible for the child care. But still, as the time progresses, after industrialization, modernization, awareness of social networking sites, one can say that media playing very important part in it. So mothers are more lesser concerned now about their kids. So generally it is said the mother is responsible. It is the mother who play the most part in upbringing of his her child, and all the things which are given as far as the primary socialization is concerned. It's all about the mother's responsibility rather father. So yes, one can see that in UK or other countries, uh, it's a bit difficult for women to give her child the proper care, because they have to, things are more expensive. Childcare is very expensive. So alternatives are always there. For instance, grandparents are always a very helping hand as far as the childcare is concerned. Then there are nannies, which are a general concept in UK and other European countries, just for the childcare. Then nurseries, though UK is not that active as far as the child care provision is concerned. So, but rather than in Scandinavian countries and more developed countries, I mean, there are preschools. I mean, where you can send your kids if you are having a job. So, motherhood is not an easy job at all, because it is the mother who is involved in triple shift even. I mean, so first of all, paid employed outside, unpaid worker inside, domestic doing work, and emotional attachment is a kind of thing which is related to women as well. So over the period of time, motherhood has revolutionized as well. Still, you can say that if you outside of the marriage, you people have a lot of kids. Still, it's a bit stigmatized, because religion doesn't like at all what you people are doing. So the basic thing is that whenever we are, suppose we have a question, I mean, in family, and I let you know one thing. So my point of view, it is one of the things which is more than confirmed. I mean, in the chapter family, you need to prepare three things: childhood, one, motherhood, secondly, and the fatherhood, third. So there must be a question, even a short question. It should be from that point of view. The last thing I'm going to teach you right now, it's fatherhood. Okay, so the traditional view of the father is as the head of the family, very bad, and as the breadwinner. The father role as breadwinner usually means that he was away from the home for most of the day at work. His main role with regard to his children, after providing materially uh, for them, was to discipline them, when required. The limits of the father roles and the division of the task by gender were set by men but supported by many women. Changing nappies and feeding a baby were seen as not men's work, and men who liked taking care of children might be thought of as feminine. This created a real dilemma for men who wanted to have a strong relationship with their children. Those who broke these restrictions faced being stigmatized by other men if it became known and they did women's work. The separation, alienation of father from their children was increased by being required to impose punishment, which can make it harder to form a close bond. The position of man in modern society has changed in recent years, and this has had effect on how men behave as father. Some of the changes involved in this shift are the decline of manufacturing industry caused male unemployment has affected the working class, particularly abuse of women and children within family by men has become much better publicized and condemned. The importance of man within families is questioned. More women can support family alone. Divorce law has been used mainly by women to divorce their husbands. Feminism has questioned traditional ideas about masculinity, suggesting that it is responsible for abuse of power, war, and damage to the environment. In the late 1980s, there was much talk in the media of new men who were supposedly anti sexist, gentle, sensitive, and fully involved in bringing up children. It means that many people, men and women, approve of the idea of new men, but many couples find it hard to put it into practice. Some men are critical of the part their own fathers played in their upbringing and are determined to be different. More fathers are playing an active part in the emotional side of the child rearing and spending more time with their children. So fathers are now expected to involve with children more often and in more ways than before. At the same time, they are often expected to still be the main provider. Arguably, many men as well as women take on a dual burden of both the traditional role for their gender and aspect of the other gender role. This we have in the chapter, and before I wrap up, just give me 2 to 3 minutes just to give you an idea about the fatherhood. Fatherhood is a social construction again. Generally acknowledging father is the breadwinner, the food provider, and the one who used to be out away from their children just to win food for them. One thing. Second thing is that if most of the society, you can say that mothers are not able to handle due to their softness, due to their gentle nature. So it is considered to be the role of father that they had to come forward and try to be strict with their children just to make them within the boundaries. This is the role of the father, and it's always father is always considered to be the one who face the music most of the time because the crimes, wars, uh, you can say all these things are normally taken with the man. One thing. Second thing is that there are so many awareness by the media, and especially the criticism of feminism make the role of the father a bit more challenging and more difficult because all the child abuse, the violation, divorce, uh, torture, all these things are associated with men at the same time because hardly you can see a woman which is doing such kind of activities. But still, I mean, we need to understand a couple of things. With the passage of time, now we have a concept of new men. What is the concept of new men? The concept of new men is all about now it's the responsibility of the father. If his spouse is outside for the job, why can't he do the same stuff which can be done by his spouse? So according to Newman theory, men are always there, are happy, more supportive. A person is considered to be good man if he's doing the same job which has been doing by his spouse for many years. And one can say that UK and in Europe, you can say that now they have shifted the roles. The conjugal roles can be shifted by the mutual understanding of the couple, but still those men which are ready to serve the different roles, they are always stigmatized by other men, and they are considered to be more feminist, as compared to their gender. So there are certain roles which should be done by the according to gender, and there must be roles which need to be addressed by men as the time has changed a lot. Women are willing to devote themselves for career building. They are if they are involved and they can simply prove the triple shift, so why can't men at least do the double shift? I mean, they need to work out, and they have to give a very supportive hand to their spouse for the betterment of their children. So whenever it comes to the upbringing, the child rearing, fathers are there, though the portion is a bit low as compared to mothers. Uh, so this we have in the chapter. It is obviously, as I mentioned many times before, the family chapter is very important, because if you people are preparing this chapter, is a kind of compulsory chapter for you guys, and you have to prepare it properly. The next video will be a marathon video. You can say that it will take more than an hour, and especially I will make this video hopefully in a day or two. The basic purpose for making the next video is just to make you an idea how to prepare your examination of the chapter family. I will study a couple of questions. I will make the notes, short notes for them, and I would love to answer questions if you people send me through comment sections. So till then, take a day or two off from my side, and take good care of yourself. Revise the whole chapter twice or thrice, so it will be easier for you to understand what I'm going to take you in my next video. Till then, take great care of yourself, people around you. Fiamani.